Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Dylan Knows. This is episode 392, Day Drinking. I decided today, for whatever reason, not to do a regular song because things seem to be jumping all over the place here. I'm hoping that this is not going to be continuing the case. But I also didn't really have a song that really spoke to me this week. It's getting kind of hard sometimes more and more to do the show. I love still doing my show, but it's just sometimes I just rather be doing some other stuff. But I think I'll keep going at it. I'm only 8 episodes away from 400, and I want to keep doing it for a while. It gives me a little bit of a chance to do something different for a little while during the week. Just I don't know, just not as exciting to me as it used to be anymore, and obviously not to anybody else because no one's watching it. Also, the fact that I'm not posting it so much, but forget whatever I'm saying. I have a drinking problem, Day drinking is the episode today. We got today's episode. We're going to look at some local news, some day drinking, the Talisman, Truffalo sauce, Dr. Seuss and Mr. Potato Head issues, floaty pool pants. That's what I probably should name the episode. WandaVision season finale. We're going to talk about that and prep for Falcon and Winter Soldier. Some death, Easter, St. Patrick's Day, golden beer cans, Thunder Force, Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen. All you can drink tequila, Reese's peanut butter cups, Fluffernutters, J.J. Watt, Star Trek 4, Ant-Man 3, and Golden Globe winners, I believe. What the hell did I write here? I don't know what the hell that is. Okay. So I had 2 viewers and now I have 0. So I guess my negative Nancy attitude is getting to people. See, as I said, people are just like, fuck this show. Anyway, this is a brand new episode of Dylan Knows, and let's get moving on here. First, we'll do some of the local news because there are 2 major local news deaths that hit this week. Vi Ripken, the matriarch of the Ripken family, of Cal Ripken, Bill Ripken, and the wife of Cal Ripken Sr., passed away this week. Kind of an interesting story happened to her, I don't know, roughly about 10, 15 years ago, where she was kidnapped and held against her will for like a weekend or something like that. And a kind of really weird, I don't know if they were trying to get money from the Ripkins to save her. It was kind of just a weird sort of story, and there was a lot more different levels to it. And I was almost, I think, Vi knew who her kidnapper was. It's one of these. If you ever get a chance to take a look at it and maybe just look it up on the internet under Vi Ripken kidnapping case, it's quite a read, and I can't quite remember everything that happened to it, but it was a intriguing story that affected Baltimoreans for, I think it was about a week or a weekend or something like that. She was only gone for a small amount of time and everything was fine. Again, I don't know if the person got captured. That's the other thing. I don't think that happened, but she was the matriarch of the Ripken family. Cal Ripken Sr., her husband, passed away years ago, and her son Cal Ripken is probably the most famous Oriole out there. Also a record holder for most consecutive games played. His brother Billy was an Oriole player as well for a while. Is now a broadcaster. And written a book about the new baseball game, the way it's played with all the computer stuff and stuff like that. So it's kind of neat looking at that. And the other death locally that's Oriole related is Joe Altobelli, who was the last manager to win a World Series as Orioles manager way back in 1983, passed away this week as well. It was sort of a bookend to the week. Vi died early last week, and Joe died recently this week. So it's kind of an interesting little dichotomy. And Baltimore Sports owes a lot to both of them, obviously. So cheers to you guys. Jinx is down here visiting me. But of this we have is Joan Weldon, star of the sci-fi creature classic Them, died at the age of 90, which is about giant ants. So much so that one of my favorite movies, Matinee, made fun of them with Mant. So that's kind of interesting. Irv Cross, a former NFL player and broadcaster, died at the age of 81 this week as well. Degrassi Next Generation star Jamil French died at the age of 29. Degrassi is that show from Canada. That's a soap opera for kids for the most part. And M. Crockett Jr., Crockett Jr., legendary pro wrestling promoter, died at the age of 76 this week as well. So it's a very short, should be a short episode this week. There's only 2 full pages and a half a page of another one. So we'll move on from that. Before I get to WandaVision, there was another rumored Marvel thing that you need to, take with a grain of salt. They announced a new MCU show called The Mutants, which they believe is going to be the show that's going to bring mutants into the MCU via TV show. But again, I don't know if that is real or rumor. I haven't heard or seen anything other than this article that got reached out to a couple of different sites, but nothing concrete from Disney. Nothing was in their Disney event like late last year or something like that, where they announced all the stuff that is upcoming. Whoa, Jinxie! Whoa! Hold on. Sorry, she got my cord here wrapped around her. So that's we'll take that with a grain of salt. Ant-Man is his new movie. Quantumania, I think is what they're calling it. Ant-Man 3 is now penciled in for 2023. So 2 years away. So that makes about a good enough sense, meaning they will probably start filming the movie probably late this year. And then into 2022, and then they'll do the special effects and stuff like that, and then they'll release the film. That's the one that's going to bring Kang the Conqueror to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That one is a fact because they have it cast already, and they said this guy's playing Kang. So we'll get an idea about what that's going on in a second there. Plus, Ant-Man is getting a little love in Fortnite. Fortnite has had a close relationship with not only Marvel but DC. As I mentioned last week, they are doing a comic book series, which of course the final cutoff date for the first issue of the Fortnite DC crossover is this week. So if you want it, go tell your local comic store you want it. They will order you some extra copies and get enough so that you can have a copy of it. Again, it's going to have a code to get a Harley Quinn skin in it, and the first bit of code, I'm assuming, to get the Armored Batman, which you won't be able to get until you get all 6 issues as well. But last season of Fortnite was a Marvel season, and they had all Marvel characters, and they had Marvel POIs, including Wakanda was there, and Stark Industries, and then there was a peculiar one that appeared in the middle of the island. That was Ant-Man's house. And people were like, okay, we're going to get Ant-Man's skin. And we didn't get one from the season. What I think happened was they were supposed to release it during the Marvel season, but for whatever reason, they could not do it. Maybe it wasn't prepared. Maybe they just weren't ready for it. So they've decided to tail end it to the being the final Hunter character introduced into Fortnite this season. The new Fortnite season is going to drop on March 16th, which is about 10 days from now. So we've got a little bit of a ways to go for that. But Ant-Man is finally here in Fortnite, and he dropped yesterday. I don't have enough V-Bucks to get him just yet, but I'm going to probably get some probably tomorrow when I go grocery shopping, pick some up and hopefully get him and add him to my variety of Marvel skins. So that'll be kind of cool. Any other Marvel news here that is jumping before I get into that? Nope. Okay. Well, WandaVision had its season finale this week. Now we have a break before the Falcon and Winter Soldier pops up on March 19th. So basically, a lot of people were upset with the season finale, mainly due to the fact that it was a satisfying conclusion, but did not include any of all of the theories that fans had been postulating about, Mephisto and what else was there? And there was some other. Mephisto was a big one, but there was some. They were going to be introducing, mutants and introducing the House of M and doing all this stuff. Doctor Strange was going to have a cameo, and all this stuff was supposed to happen. And in the end, it was I thought it was a satisfying ending. Yeah, it was. It moved a little fast, and it was a little wasn't on par with some of the earlier episodes of the season, but still, I thought it was a valid wrap up to the season, and we got some very interesting um, threads that need to be looked at again in later shows and movies, which is what Marvel is notorious for. But the basic premise behind it, spoilers from now on, for those who haven't seen it yet, you can stop talking now. As I said, I'll probably be about a 10-minute talk, if that. So check back in about 10 minutes. I might be done. Might be 5 to 10 minutes. We'll check it in there. Anyway, so it ended with Agatha holding the boys hostage and Wanda trying to fight her, and Vision on his way to get her, and Darcy coming to help save Wanda, and the head of SWORD getting ready to launch his Operation Cataract, which we find out is a White Vision robot. So all that stuff converges into one thing. Agatha and Wanda have a little bit of a fight. Vision pops up to try to save the day, and then White Vision shows up. So Wanda takes on Agatha in a battle royale. Regular Vision takes on White Vision in a battle royale through the town. Also, the townspeople are all awakened by Agatha, and they are calling for Wanda to let them out and to help them, and whining and crying about how their lives have been changed by her, which is true, that has been. And so much so that she opens up the portal to let them get out. And I think that's what they wanted. So the head of SWORD brought his troops to come in through that opening as well. So the battle commences and so on and so forth. And we discover that Agatha wants the Scarlet Witch's power for herself, obviously. And she's using the kids as hostages for allowing it to do that. So it appears that Wanda is doing it and giving her the power, but then we discover that she has learned something. She learned from Agatha, saying that if you place runes, only the witch who placed the runes can control the power. And so when Wanda appeared to be giving the power to Agatha, and it seemed like Agatha was sucking it up and getting it, she really wasn't. It was all a ploy by Wanda to get her to believe that. And then when she saw the runes and she couldn't use the power, she realized she'd been beaten, and Wanda turned into the official Scarlet Witch with her comic accurate costume popping on. Not the one you saw at Halloween, but a more updated, modern version of the costume that's out there now. Meanwhile, the Visions, a lot of people are probably upset about this because they actually ended their conflict with conversation. Because the White Flash's, or White Vision, programming was to destroy the real Vision. And the Vision in the WandaVision world is like, I'm not the real Vision, and neither are you. And that sort of messed up White Vision. I was like, explain further. So Vision explained kind of what was going on. And then he used his magical powers to transfer his memories to White Vision. So White Vision has all of regular Vision's memories that he got from his time as being an Avenger and being with Wanda and WandaVision and her love for Wanda and stuff like that. And White Vision flies away. So we'll probably be seeing him again, and he'll probably be the way to bring Vision back to the Marvel Universe. So that's a plus right there. And then Wanda knows full well that if she, completely cleans out the dome over Westview, that her family is going to disappear, because it was all creations of this magic held within this dome. And once she releases that, they're all going to disappear, and that upset her. But she realizes that that's the only way to save the day, to be the hero, to save these people who were part of her grief therapy, and they don't deserve that. So the first thing she does is she erases Agatha's memories and puts the memories of Agatha the TV show, the nosy neighbor's memories back in her head. So she's going to stay in Westview as the nosy neighbor, not remembering who she is, but just all her stuff as being the nosy neighbor. And then she and the Vision, uh, the white Vision disappeared, but the Vision from her memory, and the kids are together when the head of Sword comes, but he gets stopped by Darcy. And then Jimmy Woo has called the FBI in to come in and arrest Sword, and for doing an illegal job, and so they get taken out as well. And Monica discovers that Quicksilver is actually one of the people who lives in the town, named Ralph Boner, and was given the powers by Agatha. So it's not the Quicksilver from an alternate dimension. That was another thing that upset people, that they were expecting the alternate realities to make an appearance, and that this was actually the Quicksilver from the Fox universe bleeding into the MCU. That's not the case. It's just a guy named Ralph Boner who was given the powers of Quicksilver to imitate her brother for continuing the ruse. So everything's all wrapped up, and so Vision and Wanda take the two boys back to the house. They put them to bed, and they say goodnight, and Wanda has a really tearful farewell to them, not make it sound like farewell, just like, I'm so glad you picked me as your mom, and stuff like that. And so they leave. The boys, none the wiser what's about right. It's getting ready to go down. And then her and Vision have one last touching moment together as she lifts the shield, the dome around Westview, so that everybody can get their memories back and go back to their lives. And it erases the boys and Vision. And Scarlet Witch is back at where she was at the beginning. But she's a little bit wiser now. She's got the more understanding of her powers. And she, talks to Monica. Monica's like, you're not a bad person, and Wanda's like, neither are you, that sort of stuff. And they have a nice goodbye, and Wanda flies away to parts unknown. And then while they're doing cleanup, one of the FBI agents comes over to Monica and says, I need to talk to you personally in the movie theater. First of the two end credit sequences. So they go into the movie theater, and it's discovered that this FBI agent is a Skrull, saying somebody wants to see you up there about what's going on in your mother and your power, stuff like that. So it looks like that Monica they were setting up more secret invasion as well. So we get that little aspect, that she's going to be going up to see Nick Fury up in the Space Sword Station where he's been staying since Spider-Man 3, or rather 2, excuse me. And the secondary storyline has Wanda hidden in a cabin in the woods, and it's her just having her coffee and just chilling in a little cabin in the woods by a lakeside. And we pan into her bedroom. We discover the powerful Scarlet Witch is reading the Darkhold to learn how to use her power. So Wanda's been able to figure out how to send her astral projection to read about the Darkhold, to learn more about her powers. And that's similar to what Doctor Strange did when he learned his powers. So that's kind of an intriguing little thing to do that leads up to Doctor Strange too. So we've got I thought it was a satisfying ending. We got, pretty much most of these storylines were wrapped up. So in the end, I really enjoyed it, and I think it's one of these things that I'd like to just check it out now in a marathon, just to see how well it all connects in a one long, like 6-hour stretch. So that should be fun. And to prove how exciting and how great people wanted to see this show, Disney Plus crashed again for the second week in a row when the video is uploaded, because so many people wanted to see it, which means that there are hundreds of thousands and millions of people who've been watching this and want to watch it, and all want to watch it at the same time, and it crashed Disney Plus for a little bit. In fact, we were having issues checking it out, and we watched it like at 8:00 at night on Friday, but we were able to finally check it all out. That also could be a little bit to do with my Amazon Fire Stick, which seems to be acting up a lot lately. And I don't know if that's something serious that I need to look into or what. So that's something, but that's your WandaVision wrap up. I thought it was fantastic. I loved the ending, despite what everybody else saying how much they hated it. They can all just go suck a lemon because they're wrong. But now we have a break. Next week, they're going to show a behind-the-scenes documentary about how they made WandaVision. And then we're going to lead into March 19th premiere of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which will only be 6 episodes, but they're all going to be about an hour each. And that's going to be, from the trailer, stuff like that, it's going to be more along the lines of this is going to be a 6-hour MCU movie with the action and the humor and stuff you expect from a typical Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, and not what WandaVision tried to do by expanding things and making things a little different. This one looks to be a more straight up MCU action comic book sort of thing. And looking forward to it. Should be a good show. I will definitely be watching it, and then I will definitely be doing reviews of it on my show once we start watching it again. I think people will be a little bit more happier with this because it is more along the lines of what they're used to seeing. Because God forbid they try to see something different, but oh well. In the end, I really enjoyed WandaVision. I'm glad they did what they did, and I'm glad that it was the first Marvel cinematic show, even though it wasn't supposed to be. I'm glad it was to set the table for how things are going to probably be in the near future. Speaking of Disney Plus, Obi-Wan Kenobi, played by Ewan McGregor, we all know is going to get ready to start filming his own Disney Plus series coming up probably sometime early next year, but he's going to start filming it this year. But we just got word this week that he himself is pulling sort of a well, it's all Star Wars Cinematic Universe is already a universe all connected, but the first Star Wars TV show after The Mandalorian is this new show called Andor, based on a character from Rogue One, which takes place obviously before Rogue One because Andor died in Rogue One. Spoiler alert again. But this show, which takes place before Rogue One, and it's going to be about how the Rogue One was set up and stuff like that, how that all happened. Obi-Wan Kenobi, played by Ewan McGregor, will be making an appearance. I don't know in what capacity. The headline had it as Obi-Wan Kenobi to star in Andor. So I don't know if he's going to be a major part of the series or if he's only going to be maybe in an episode or two here and there. I don't know much about Andor, and we'll be seeing that sooner than later. Probably this summer, I would assume. We probably start seeing it because The Bad Batch, I think, is the first animated Star Wars new show coming up on May the 4th, obviously. So I think Andor is coming up maybe this summer sometime. So or might not even be till the fall. We'll see, but it should be coming soon because I don't think they want to interfere with the Boba Fett Mandalorian stuff coming up soon. And they want to expand their Star Wars view as well. So we'll see how that goes. Speaking of, I said Star Wars, but now let's talk a little bit about Star Trek. I really enjoyed the J.J. Abrams reboot of Star Trek back in 2009, I believe. The sequel, not so much. And then Star Trek Beyond that came out a couple years ago was actually really, really good as well. So it was kind of a good return for it. I like this version of Star Trek. I like the way that they set it up as an alternate reality. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that immensely. So I think that's really great. And was excited when they were talking about the fourth version, which would have Chris Hemsworth, who's now a huge star, returning as Kirk's dad in a time travel story because, hey, it's a fourth Star Trek movie, and that's usually when they do time travel stuff. So I was excited about that. They also had a woman director, and everything seemed to be falling into place. But then Chris Pine started getting a little bit, I don't know, he was getting irritated that he wasn't getting paid as much as other people because of his role in Wonder Woman. It made him be a more bankable star, I guess. And then Chris Hemsworth, who's now a big star himself, was also asking for a fortune to appear in this movie as well, now that he was it's a big star. And it didn't seem like it was going to be feasible. So, and also they lost the actor who played Chekhov, Anton Yelchin, a few years ago, back in 2016, I believe, died in a car accident, I think, which I think would be the last time that Star Trek came out, I believe. And so Yeah, it was. Yeah, since it's been at least 5 years now since the last Star Trek movie. Um, but so I was kind of disappointed when that all seemed to fall apart in the end. It's like, okay, we're never going to see this new version of Star Trek ever again. And then word came this week that Kalinia Vasquez has signed on to direct Star Trek 4. And Pine and et al. Are interested in returning. We have that whole stupid Quentin Tarantino Star Trek movie still being talked about also, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. But Kalina, I think is her name, Kalina Vasquez, has officially signed on to direct Star Trek 4. Now it's just a matter of getting the script in action and getting the cast back together. So there's potential that we could eventually see a Star Trek 4. It's probably not going to be anytime in the near future, probably a 2023 at the earliest probably debut if they can work out. They have to get the script done. They got to do the pre-production. They got to get casting. They got to make sure that they can get the entire cast back. They got to figure out a way to write out Chekhov and stuff like that. But that once it gets moving, it shouldn't be a big deal. And the fact that it has been a green lit with J.J. Abrams producing is continuing to show that it's still a viable piece in a show and could potentially come back sooner than later, which I think is absolutely amazing. So that's good. We've talked about this too. Child's Play, the movies based on the Killer Doll, is coming to a TV series near you. And now they've gotten some casting news. Devon Sawa, who was famous in the 90s for Casper and Final Destination and Idle Hands and a bunch of other stuff like that, has signed on to be in this TV show, as has Jennifer Tilly, who was in Bride of Chucky. So she'll be probably reprising her role in this series as well. So that's going to start moving along very quickly soon. Continuing the Netflix stuff, there's lots of Netflix stuff this week, but this is the biggest Netflix news of the week. The Duffer Brothers, who brought you Stranger Things, and one Steven Spielberg, are joining forces to produce a series on Netflix based on Stephen King's and Peter Straub's, don't forget he was the co-writer of this book, The Talisman, which also had a sequel called Bleak House, which they might eventually get into, though it takes place far in the future, whereas The Talisman focuses on the main character as a teenager. Bleak House has him as a grown-up, so I don't know if they'll do a continuing story or whatever, or they'll do two separate limited series. I don't know. So right now, the Duffer Brothers and Spielberg will be teaming for a Netflix series based on The Talisman. Hopefully, it's going to be one of these limited series sort of type things like the WandaVision, which proves that you don't need to have a second season or third season of a TV show. You can just do a one-and-done limited series and still have it good. So it's got good creators behind it, Duffer Brothers, Steven Spielberg, and Stephen King, and Peter Straub, can't forget that, working together on The Talisman. So actually anxious to see that. I don't believe I've read The Talisman. I don't think I own it, so I have it on my Amazon list along with Bleak House. So I'll read those and to get in preparation for this. As I said, they just announced it this week, which means, again, this probably will not at the earliest be making an appearance till sometime next year, because the Duffer Brothers are currently working on Stranger Things Season 4, and Spielberg just finished the remake of West Side Story, so I don't know what he's got in the pipeline for movie-wise coming up. So don't expect it anytime soon, but the fact that it's out there and about and will be there eventually, hopefully, is a good sign. Amazon, Netflix has been known for doing a lot of anime stuff and live action anime, but Amazon Prime is starting to get into that more as well, as they've just announced a live action Hellsing TV show coming from the John Wick writer. Hellsing is a popular manga anime about like a demonic bounty hunter sort of thing, so it's kind of cool. And they're going to be doing a live action version of that written by John Wick's writer, so that'll be a interesting take on things. Eddie Murphy's, who's Coming to America 2, released this weekend from Amazon Prime, and I think has been the most talked about movie this weekend. It's got mixed reviews. I haven't watched it yet. I might not watch it maybe until March 20th, because that's when both my son and daughter and my wife are all going to be out of the house doing scouting related camping stuff. So I might end up watching a bunch of Netflix stuff on that day, including this. It's not real Netflix, but coming to Amazon Prime also has an aspect to that as well. So it's the trending movie being talked about this week. But the main star, Eddie Murphy, told Kevin Hart that he is definitely planning on getting out and doing stand-up again sometime this year. So we could be seeing some brand new Eddie Murphy stand-up. Now, the rumors have been floating around for a while now that after he sort of disappeared from the movie theater scene after a number of flops, and after his own personal disgust about not winning the award for the musical, I forget the name of it right now, that he was nominated for, and he didn't win it way back in the early 2000s. He sort of disappeared, and rumor has it that he had been perfecting a new stand-up routine and been going to clubs unannounced and doing sets there and there to see what works and what doesn't work, and has been constantly writing jokes and updating stuff. So it looks like he might finally be ready to reveal his new stand-up routine, and that could be interesting to see as well. World's oldest known wild bird has another chick at the age of 70, which is really old for a bird. So for a 70-year-old bird, just laid a new egg and has a brand new chick now. So that's a good sign for people who think that, love and sex ends at, 40 or 50. Some marriages it does, apparently, but that's besides the point. But yeah, so that's good on that wild bird there. It's pretty good. Maya Chaka is going to be the first Black woman to officiate an NFL game next season, meaning she will be the official, not one of the sideline judges. We've had a couple women do that already. Now we have a woman who's going to be one of the first official main officiators doing stuff like that. Minions Rising, the Rise of Gru, the sequel to Minions, was to come out this summer, is now been pushed to next summer. So we're still getting movies pushed next summer because while we may be getting enough vaccinations for everybody to be vaccinated by May, not everybody is going to take vaccinations because we have the stupid, asshole, idiot, moronic anti-vaxxers who are going to refuse to do it. The conservative, wacko, QAnon fuckers who believe that they're not going to do anything good for themselves to stick it to the liberals aren't going to take it either. So even though it's going to be available for people, and not everybody is going to be vaccinated, so they're still trying to get herd immunity going on that. So it's still going to be a little dangerous, I guess, to be out and about for a while, even if everybody's vaccinated, because you don't know who is or isn't. We'll see what happens with that. But so I guess they feel, let's just be 100% certain about what's going on. 2022 sounds like a reasonable time for everything to flatten out and be okay. So they've moved that to then as well. Because of everybody being in quarantine, stuff like that, being online, doing Zoom classes and regular online education, stuff like that has been a huge thing now. Well, guess what? You can now take online Hogwarts classes, which sort of defeats the purpose of magic, but what's the point of that? So kind of an interesting take on that as well. Floaty pants will help you swim more freely. So summertime is rolling through here real soon. Here in the mid-Atlantic, we're going to be getting the 60s with the high of 70s on Thursday. So pool time is going to be starting to come in a few months, and vacation, stuff like that. So everybody has, sometimes people need a little extra help in the water. So some have life vests and some have floaties, stuff like that. Well, now you can have floaty pants, which are going to help you move more freely around the pool and still protect you as well. So that is a new thing that is out there now. And now while you're in the water, you just need to be careful because of what's going on in New Zealand, because New Zealand has discovered glow-in-the-dark sharks. Sharks that glow in the dark at night have been photographed. They did not know sharks or these sharks have the ability to glow in the dark, but there's photographic proof that it happened, and that's kind of interesting. A floating ship was photographed off the Cornish coast this week. Everybody's like, oh, look at that. No, but that is it's a giant ship that looks like it's floating over the ocean. The ocean is calm all the way to the horizon. The ship is above in the air. That, however, is an illusion caused by sun angle, the curvature of the Earth, because the Earth is round, and other aspects as well. That there have been other, and that's what they believe, that when you see ships from a distance that look like they're floating, that's where they believe the legend of the Flying Dutchman came from, that this sort of visual mirage thing sort of freaked out a bunch of people and said there were ships that were not floating on sea but in the air, but in actuality they are floating on the sea. It's just because of perspective and stuff like that, it looks like it's floating in air. Don't ask me to explain it because I don't know the science behind it, but the fact is it made it was trending a couple days ago and became a big deal. Day drinking. Hey, that's the name of this episode. So here we go. 36 minutes in. Here's why it's called day drinking. Day drinking Aussies end up stranded in the Indian Ocean on an air mattress. I guess they were out on the water on an air mattress. They're just drinking away, drinking, and not really thinking much about anything except drinking. And they're just having a good time on the air mattress. And then they maybe pass out or whatever. They wake up and they're in the Indian Ocean, which is not far from the Australian coast. So there you go. But that's kind of a interesting thing as well. Organic matter was found in a meteorite that crashed in Michigan recently. So there's organic matter somewhere in this world, and or somewhere in this universe other than this planet, and this meteorite proves it. Jelly donut French toast. It was a recipe I saw on Facebook as a way to, you can inject the jelly from a jelly donut into like a brioche French toast thing, and you can make your own jelly donut French toast that way. So they have the step-by-step thing. It looks kind of interesting as well. Fruit Loops pizza, which is going to be another name of this episode. Sour cream and cream cheese sauce topped with mozzarella, Fruit Loops, drizzled with Greek yogurt and condensed milk. I'm sorry, that just sounds absolutely horrendous and terrible and awful, and I want no part of it. I did try the Fruity Pebbles coffee creamer, and it's not my favorite, but it's tolerable. I will finish the bottle I got, and it's tolerable, but it's just not one that I'm going to make, yeah, I need to get that again. The Cocoa Krispies one's a different story. That was really, really good, so I'll probably get that one again. But the Fruit Loops one, not so much, but I just want to give it a try. It's okay. If you like the taste of Fruit Loops, it tastes like Fruit Loops. When you want it in your coffee, it doesn't quite work. Not Fruit Loops, Fruity Pebbles. But if you're one of these people that's like, these people ruining their coffee with coffee creamers, can't they just have, drink straight coffee, whatever? But then you also don't like straight up black coffee, but you don't want to look like a fool by saying that you hate it without some sort of cream or sugar, or even if you put regular cream in it, it's not going to make really change the taste of the coffee. Well, guess what? Coffee Mate has got your back. I saw this at the grocery store today and could not believe it when I looked closer at it to see what it said. It is called Unlocked. It is a new coffee creamer from Coffee Mate, which is a coffee creamer that makes your coffee taste like coffee. It is a Colombian coffee flavored creamer for your coffee. So even if you don't have Colombian coffee in your cup, this creamer from Coffee Mates Unlocked will make your coffee taste like Colombian coffee. It's like a whole meta mind exploding sort of thing. It's like absolutely insane that's something out there like that. But yeah, it's true. Lucky Charms, St. Patrick's Day is rolling up here really quickly. So Lucky Charms has cookie dough now. So you can make St. Patrick's Day cookies with Lucky Charms marshmallows in them. I might actually look that up. That might be a good treat for St. Patrick's Day. So I'll see if I can find it at my local grocery store, Walmart or Target or whatever. But could be pretty good. But yes, they now have Lucky Charms cookie dough. Still talking about St. Patrick's Day coming up March 17th. So that's what? 2 Wednesdays in 2 weeks. Not 2 Wednesdays. Today is the 7th, right? It's in 10 days, right? Today's 7th. So 10 days from now, it'll be St. Patrick's Day, which means is this the week? It's Wednesday. So I'll start wearing green on Wednesday because I like to wear green for a week before St. Patrick's Day. So Wednesday, I'll start wearing my green. I have a ton of green because I like green. Green's one of my favorite colors. So I'm going to start wearing my St. Patrick's Day stuff leading up to March 17th. So 10 days, that's coming up quickly. So actually, that would mean that this upcoming weekend is going to be technically St. Patrick's Day weekend, even though St. Patrick's Day is in the middle of the week this year. But okay, we'll see about that. But anyway, everyone knows that St. Patrick's Day is about drinking and 4-leaf clovers and Lucky Charms and stuff like that. Well, in this case, a brewery in Colorado called Breckenridge Brewery has decided that they are going to try something fun and different and have a little nod towards Willy Wonka, as they have hidden 100 gold beer cans in their 12 packs of, Their 12 packs of Nitro Stout. So if you like those sort of types of micro brews and stuff like that, and I'm sure Breckenridge Brewery sounds like since it's a nationwide contest, it means that most states probably will have a version of Breckenridge Brew somewhere in the liquor store. Maybe find a really, really good, I've got a couple really good liquor stores up here, so they might have some. There's one that's small, but it tends to have a ton of these microbrews, has its own freezer for these microbrews, which is really, really cool. And then there's a Reisterstown Liquors down the street, which has everything you can imagine under the sun. I would guarantee you probably Breckenridge beers down there. So go get a 12-pack of Nitro Stout. And if you open up your 12-pack and you discover a golden can, you are now put into a contest to win a free trip to Ireland. I don't think it's for St. Patrick's Day, but it's freaking Ireland, and it's an awesome place, and I want to go there. It's on my bucket list. I'd love to go to Ireland. I'd love to go to Ireland on St. Patrick's Day, even though St. Patrick's Day is not a big deal in Ireland, but still, it's a fun thing to go to. But I wouldn't mind going during the summer or fall or whatever. So I just want to go to Ireland. So that'd be kind of cool if you win that competition. I think there's, if you don't win, there's some consolation prize. I didn't read what they were, but I thought that's kind of neat that they have hidden 100 gold beer cans in their 12 packs of Nitro Stout. So run out to your grocery store, or not your grocery store, not yet. That's a story for later on in the episode. Run out to your local liquor store and try to find Breckenridge Brewery's Nitro Stout. Open it up. And if you have the gold can, congratulations, you are now into the contest to win a trip to Ireland. So fantastic. So, speaking of booze, Major League Baseball released their a list of from 1 to 32. There's 32 teams in order of who are the most booziest fans who drink the most alcohol at baseball games. Number 1 is the Chicago White Sox. Number 8 is your very own Baltimore Orioles. So Baltimore is the number 8 booziest fan base in Major League Baseball. 8th place, baby. This summer, once things open up again, we got to change that. We got to be number 1. Yeah. We can drink some Breckenridge Brewery Nitro Stout. A Buffalo Wild Wings has released a new buffalo sauce called Truffalo Sauce, which is a buffalo sauce with truffles. Now, truffles is one of those weird little flavor taste things that's kind of weird to put in with a buffalo sauce sort of thing, but I just thought it was kind of interesting that they created something called a Truffalo Sauce for their buffalo sauce buffalo wings. So I think that's kind of interesting. Dulce de leche toast crunch is on its way from the makers of cinnamon toast crunch. You're now going to get dulce de leche crunch as well, which is good coming up. The hottest known exoplanet in the universe is so hot that it melts molecules in its atmosphere. Basically, they're saying that it could take a hydrogen molecule in its atmosphere and split it, and then it would get sucked to the cold side of the planet and it could reform into hydrogen again. So that's kind of interesting. I'm not going to get upset, but I just want to lay down some facts about this next thing. I'm going to get a little political here 45 minutes in. This week we had the announcement that Dr. Seuss's company is going to be stop printing 6 Dr. Seuss books that have racist imagery in it. And also Hasbro announced that they are no longer going to call Mr. Potato Head Mr. Potato Head. They want it to, for trans people, stuff like that, they're just going to call it Potato Head. So obviously, because of this, the moronic QAnon terrorist Republican conservative a-holes are losing their collective fuck brains over this, claiming cancel culture. The liberals are destroying everything that we've loved. How can you attack Dr. Seuss and Mr. Potato Head? Blah, 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 blah. Well, let's get a few things straight here. And I've seen this from post on my Facebook page that absolutely makes you sound ignorant and stupid because you honestly don't know what you're talking about. Because first of all, liberals had nothing to do with this. The Dr. Seuss Corporation, which is owned by Dr. Seuss's family, made this determination on their own. These 6 books not only have racist imagery, they're also books that no one really orders. No bookstores order them for sale. They don't sell. And when you have a business, if something doesn't sell, you don't sell it anymore. Now, part of it could be because of the racist images. Sure, absolutely. But it's also, you're not canceling Cat in the Hat or Green Eggs and Ham or How the Grinch Stole Christmas or Horton Hears a Who or anything like that. And hey, by the way, don't you remember not too long ago, back in 2012, when they made a movie version of The Lorax, which is about climate change and stuff like that, the Republican conservatives collectively lost their minds and tried to cancel a Dr. Seuss book. They are so fucking stupid, they don't understand the irony or the hypocrisy in it because they're so fucking stupid. But the company itself made the decision to do this. And there are 6 books that, honestly, I think I've only heard of one. And even then, I've never read it, and I have no desire to read it. And in fact, I think I read somewhere that Horton Hears a Who was Dr. Seuss's apology for these racist books that he wrote earlier and previously and used previously. So, again, the fucking idiot dumbass QAnon conservative Republicans are losing their collective minds over something that is so menial, and they probably didn't even know these books existed or had this stuff in it. And it just sounds like that they just want these books to still be on the stands because it has a racist imagery because they're a bunch of white supremacist bastards. And the Mr. Potato Head changing to Potato Head, is they're freaking out about that as well. Because, the whole thing about trans identity and stuff like that, it scares them. They don't understand it. And so they're attacking one of our, toys. How long ago when was the last time you played with a Potato Head? When did you get a Mr. Potato Head? And by the way, if you remember, the original Mr. Potato Head had lips and girl stuff you could put on the Potato Head. So, because they want to be all inclusive, the boys and girls to play with Potato Head. But then they realized maybe we should create our own, and they created Mrs. Potato Head as well with more, girl-esque qualities to it. But in the end, Mr. Potato Head is a potato that has holes in it. And you put the faces and the stuff like that in it. And oh, by the way, can you remind me when Mr. Potato had a dick to prove that he was male? I don't believe he did, because that would bring up a whole other issue entirely with people. So again, conservatives are losing their collective mind, blaming liberals for something that companies made the decision of, that the government and liberals had no hand over. Like, we had nothing to do with this. Nothing. We didn't go and force them to do this or tell them to do this or whatever. They did it of their own accord. You should learn to read and fucking learn your facts, you dumb shits. God, I hate you. All right, so 50 minutes in, we're done page 1. So I don't think page 2 is going to be 50 minutes either, but you never know.